for the first time in years. Got my feet across the border from a land of tears. Ain't no way I'm going back under. Got my eyes in the wild blue yonder. Well, lies beyond the horizon, let's go find out. Feeling free.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is JP Westside Connection, your boy, here with your intro today. Before I get started, I want to warn everybody that today's intro is rated E for explicit content. As I watched the red-faced anger of new Supreme Court Justice Brett, whatever it is, Kavanagh, and close up on my television screen, I couldn't help but think of two things. One, this dude needs a better skincare regimen. And two, now ain't this some sad-ass, white privilege-ass, bullshit-ass bullshit? Serena Williams should smack his pale, drunk ass with a tennis racket. The allegations against him are unprovable at this point, all these years later. We will never truly know who was telling the truth, her, but it has been entertaining to see the parade of Republicans twisting themselves in knots trying to say that he's telling the truth without outright saying that she was not. I believe she was assaulted by someone, said a now dead-eyed, dead-soul Senator Susan Collins, formerly every Democrat's favorite Republican. But anyway, back to the red-ass-faced, drunk-ass human lobster of a second-rate crustacean Brett with the most white guy ass of white guy named motherfucking Kavanagh. Yeah, him, this bitch right here. So he go on television and gets all ignorant and indignant, yelling and practically frothing at the damn mouth with his drunk ass. What happens? He gets confirmed to the Supreme Court of the United States for a lifetime appointment. Meanwhile, Serena gets dragged through the mud for getting a little emotional at an emotional tennis match. What do we call this comparison? Do we call it racism, sexism, or do we call it a little from A and a little from B? Meanwhile, halfway across the world, Bill Puddin' Pop Cosby is having his pudding popped in prison. Just kidding. He probably already got him a prison bitch and still rocking a Huxtable sweater. But anyway, this is people wondering, why is Cosby the onlyest one of the many, many ignorant-ass motherfuckers to get taken down by the Me Too movement to get thrown into the slammer? Let me set this out straight off. In my mind, there is no defense for Cosby. His ass should be rotting in a cell for all the evil he done. R. Kelly should be in there with him, peeing on somebody. But the thing is this, there should be a whole bunch of red-faced ass white mothers like Weinstein and Kavanagh up in there with him. I don't know how any intelligent thinking person can deny that there is a heavy bias against black people in the criminal justice system. It is a proven statistical fact that black people get longer and harsher sentences than white people for the same crime. There are also many, many cases where black people are thrown into the slammer for years for things that earn white people a slap on the wrist. But the thing is, while we can sit and argue about the Cosbys and Kavanaghs of the world, we often miss a larger conversation about the various layers of privilege that exist. While they have different stories, they are both rich-ass men with good-ass lawyers. Where we miss in the conversation is that the vast majority of people convicted and thrown into prison in this country are certainly not Kavanaughs, but they ain't Cosbys or R. Kellys either. They are Laquan McDonald's and Eric Gardner's. They have no voice or fan base to even debate the unfairness of their sentences or highlight the blatant police brutality that often accompanies these cases. The glaring inequity of this issue is so maddening that it is impossible to get to the bottom of it. In the moments that I can bring myself to talk to other white people about race, which honestly, let me tell you, they ain't listening to me either. All I can really say is like CeeLo Green said in the song Crazy, think twice is my only advice. Think about why you call basketball players thug for a little trash talk, but call it great fun when hockey players get into a giant brawl. Why is that? Sometimes we, and I'm talking to the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 white people who might be listening and who is out there amongst other white folking, but think about it. Sometimes we are so quick to want to prove that we are not racist that we don't even think about the meaningless of even approaching the topic from that lens. It is sad that we live in a day when not even the KKK will admit to being racist. It was formerly the only damn thing we could rely on them for. But don't be so quick to prove yourself not racist that you don't give any thought to the thought that maybe you are. Or more appropriately, everything in this society is filtered through a racialized lens. It's not about being racist or not racist. It's about opening your damn eyes. So sit with it for a minute. Say to yourself, maybe I do have racial biases. Maybe I do so want to think that the world is better than it is, that I just turn a blind eye toward glaring injustice. Personally, I think all of us could stand to sit with our privilege for a while and see how truly uncomfortable it makes us. Sit with that discomfort and know that it will make you a better person. This is your boy Westside. I'm out.
And that was JP, the Westside Connection, as always, bringing us the intro to another episode of Sipping Tea with MBG. This is your girl, AmberJ. Got Lillie Mae in the building, JP, the Westside Connection, Adam, the editor, as always. Excuse me, y'all. And, of course, we're going to bring that hot tea mixed with some good liquor and all the other great stuff that you put in your tea. If you didn't pay attention to the intro, hopefully you did, because we're going to talk about the many atrocities that are going on in this world with this Brett Kavanagh, cocaine, Rice Krispie, however you want to pronounce his last name, that's been appointed to the Supreme Court. And it's sad because a lot of us already assumed that he would be appointed, and some of us hoped that that, you know, this one time be like, oh no, he's not gonna get it. You know, let's move on to somebody else. But unfortunately, another display of white privilege happened again, where this man was accused. It made the victim feel like she was some shit. Even some of the women that voted for this man made the victim feel like she was some shit. And we have another predator on the Supreme Court justice that can sway Roe versus Wade, any other things that any laws that go before the Supreme Court just because of who he was presented to. And it's interesting with this topic because once again, and JP, correct me if I'm wrong, once again, white women were the catalyst in this man being voted again, just like with Trump.
You ain't wrong.
So, I'm baffled because when Trump was hollering about grabbing women by the puss and all that other crazy stuff he was saying, people rallied up and used the Me Too movement, which, by the way, was founded by a black woman, and rallied behind that and used that. And no, we're not just a sex object, we're women and all of that good stuff. And then here we are again, and it's white women, or however many it was, again, making an excuse to vote a man because of the whiteness, and then turn around and say, well, I believe the lady was assaulted of some way, but you don't want to pretty much say, well, yeah, girl, I will leave you, but because we didn't really have no other candidate, we just went on ahead and got him anyway, even though he, you know, he violated. It's like white women don't come together unless it's just for white. This is what it seems like. I mean, even though, you know, we talked about this toxic, you know, masculinity thing, but again, you know, it was a white woman that made that 48-50, which was very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
well, I'm here, Amber. I'm here, and you know, I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. And what's up, everybody? We all doing our thing on this beautiful Saturday. AmberJ, I think she on her way to work. I'm getting my nails done. Y'all know I gotta keep them done. But Amber, right now, you know, I'm kind of quiet because initially, you know, we talking about Brett Kavanaugh and stuff like that. I was hyped, but this thing got a little personal for me. And the reason it's gotten a little personal is because the statement that you made about white men, you know, and the fact that it seems like white men are pretty much, you know, above reproach in these United States of America. And I agree with you because I'm still trying to figure out how this 74-year-old white man made it out alive after he killed a cop and wounded 6 others. Somebody please help me understand. And it's the same thing. Brett Kavanaugh did what these women said he did. He's guilty until proven innocent in my eyes, just like black men in the United States of America. You know, I'm sickened that he is sitting on the Supreme Court. Because now he can make it okay for child molesters and pedophiles not to have to register on the sex offender registry if he wanted to. You feel what I'm saying? So what do we do? I mean, what can we do? I don't get it.
That's the
JP,
thing.
I mean, what are your thoughts?
It's impossible to get someone off the Supreme Court, and yet they make the case that this dude needs to be rammed through on the Supreme Court in just a few weeks when they were perfectly fine just 2 years ago, having a vacancy for 11 damn months. But yet we have to ram this person through. Why? I mean, it's not even it wasn't even just the allegations. There were so many unanswered questions about what this man believes as far as his judicial philosophy.
He doesn't know what he believes. He's too damn drunk.
I know that's right.
And being absent-minded is a manifestation of alcoholism. It is. I don't understand it. And so, and I mean, Amber really hit the nail on the head. And y'all, if y'all don't know, you need to go and check out the Motivational Brown Girls page on Facebook because AmberJ put it out there. When it happened, she put it out there. And I don't know, this is the thing. Everybody needs to get up and vote. You know what I'm saying? But along with get up and vote, what do you always say, Amber? Who do they need to write? They need to write their representative. Exactly.
Yep, to their local representative and make known of the issues of what's pressing because I always say, like, these people at the local level are trying to get to Senate, House of Representatives, possibly President.
Yep, they are.
And if you don't hold them accountable, they're going to do whatever they want to do, which is going to be a reflection of, you know, the higher positions that they're seeking to do. I mean,
that's
for you know, November 6th is critical because there's a Senate and House of Representatives going on, and majority Senate, if not majority, all of them need to get up, need to go home and lay down for real. And it's I wish somebody had like the balls or the heart to challenge. And what I mean by challenge is, I get we got terms, but these people been sitting in these people been sitting in seats since the 1960s.
50 years, exactly.
And with that same mentality, and they're trying to, you know, hold up change.
And they glad John McCain dead, Amber. They glad John McCain dead.
Right.
Because one thing about it, he would have challenged some shit. He probably would have been the only Republican to challenge Kavanaugh.
Right. And it's kind of like, it's like, okay, how long are we going to have these people that are like 60, 70, 80 years old in these seats with the same old mentality of what it used to be and how great it was back in the day when you have some young people trying to say, look here, player. I mean, that was all fine and well back then, but we're trying to progress and be different. I mean, it's bad when other countries make fun of our so-called leader and don't want to exchange, don't want to trade. They want Obama back. You know what I'm saying? Bush won't that bad. It's sad.
It makes you appreciate the Bushes. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The other night, I said, "Jaya, please come save us." Like for real. Like that's how I feel. Like if you want to make it about parties, just put Bush back in it. I would rather have him.
Shit. Yeah, that's some shit right there.
Yes. But JP, this is what I want to defer to you real quick. Can you kind of talk about what white privilege means to you? I think the listeners need to hear it from a white man.
I was thinking about that, and I think the best, most succinct way that I heard it put was this. White privilege does not mean that your life is free of problems and barriers. It just means that your race is not one of them. And I think that white people don't understand what white privilege is and sort of have this reaction to it because when we hear privilege, we think, what, money, rich. I'm not white privileged. I don't have money. But that's not what the hell it is. It's really, it's in small little things. Like when I go to a store and nobody watches me, or where I'm treated more respectfully in certain aspects than people of color. It's in those small little everyday ways that make those big systemic things happen. So it's hard to explain, and honestly, there's like a million explanations on the internet. I could probably go on Facebook right now and find 2,700 people who can explain it better than I can, and that includes white people, Jesus, and 5 other black people. But to me, it is just something that we so have to recognize on every level, and that's privilege. And that's not just white privilege, but it's male privilege. Male and white privilege of not even having to think about this sexual assault allegations on a first, person basis. Not to have to think about it for yourself. Or when you have someone who's killed by the police who is black, of not having to think about that or internalize that, not having that to automatically be a part of you, not having to think about it every day and have it as part of your experience. That, to me, is white privilege.
So to you, white privilege is more internal than it is external, because what it seems like you're saying is that the socio-emotional piece is what makes it white privilege.
Well, it's
the fact that you don't have to worry.
Right, it's an internal process that bleeds external results from it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's like it starts internally, but then it becomes systemic, and obviously in this country it is systemic.
Okay. I get it. So, Amber, from your experience, and I know that we talked a lot about white privilege and we talked about women and white privilege when it came to you in your last position of employment. What does it mean to you?
Or white privilege and white women? Oh, Lord. Well, it's very similar to what JP is saying. But in my experience, white privilege with white women, it was more heavily embedded in systematic racism. It was not understanding my approach or how passionate I am, and so you're taking offense to it instead of asking for more clarity on why I feel strongly the way I do about something. or why I'm challenging you in the way that I'm challenging you. And then instead of just trying to understand, you take that and use it as a woe is me or a pity party to your other white counterparts, and make a cry wolf scenario, to where things happen to where people get fired and stuff like that, and make it seem like you're the bad guy when in all actuality it's the other way around, and then it doesn't come out until way after the fact, and then of course people are like, you're right. But that's what it is when it comes to white privilege and white women. It's like, okay, we'll all bond together as women until I disagree with you, or until you disagree with me, and then we're not bonding anymore. Now I'm gonna use this card over here, or use whatever to kind of make a way, because we don't agree with this particular topic, and I don't like your passion is coming off as you're angry, when in actuality you're not angry, or you're just passionate. Just like you're passionate about the march and grabbing stuff by the puss, and you're not a sexual object. I can be just as passionate about it too, but you don't like my tone or my approach, and it comes off threatening. Why? That's not a reflection of me. That's a reflection of you. So that's what that is. It's everything. It's kumbaya until there's a disagreement. That's what the white privileged white women, in my experience, been.
Wow. So I guess for all of us, it's similar that it is kind of internal with, like JP said, external rewards or external results, or however you want to put it. And so I just think that where we are is that I agree. We need to start challenging people. But I guess that the issue comes in when you start challenging people, though. Who is it that we are really challenging? Who is it that we really targeting? I know we talked about term limits, but I guess what can we do at the ground level? Because to me, the only thing that we can really do is we have to start having these open conversations. Then the thing with having the open conversations is, people get so easily offended now. Everybody gets offended about every little thing. Well, I look at people that don't even want to say, I don't see color. You can't help but see color. Color blindness is more harmful than blatant racism.
I see, but I don't see.
Okay, if you don't see color, you're going to treat everybody the same way, right? If you don't see color, you're going to be treating everybody the same way. You can't treat everybody the same way. Because if you were treating everybody the same way, somebody that's 6'4", you're going to give them the same platform that you give somebody that's 5'2". You feel what I'm saying? Now, the issue comes in when that person that's 6'4" is white and the person that's 5'2" is black. You see what I'm saying? Like, you legit, because if you're not seeing color, you're not paying attention to cultural context that may cause someone to act differently. If you don't see color, like, I guess what I'm saying is if you see me and I'm black, right, and you see JP and he's white, now, he might get offended if you call him bruh. Versus me, I'm going to be like, oh, what's up? You know what I'm saying? You have to, you absolutely have to acknowledge color. You don't have to judge people based off their color, but you have to acknowledge color. Because if you don't acknowledge my color, you're just saying I don't exist because I am this color. And that's why I'm saying color blindness can, in essence, be more harmful than intentional blatant racism. Especially in the classroom setting, when you're treating all the kids the same, when it's known that African-American kids are more kinesthetic learners and they don't do well on standardized tests, but you keep giving them these standardized tests and you're not giving them any practical problems. You feel what I'm saying? Does it make more sense now?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I just really like, Yeah, I just really feel like we got to stop walking around saying we don't see color, because color is real.
Well, and it helps with the experience too. Like if we're going to have an open conversation, and open to me means wide. So if we're going to have an open conversation, we have to be open about the experience we're having because of what we look like. And that's hard. I mean, the open conversation and the understanding comes in and saying, well, I may not get it or understand walking in your shoes, but I'm willing. It's the willing part to try to get it or to try to understand, even though I'm black, you're white, you go through different experiences, I've gone through different experiences. I may not understand because I'm not white and I'm not walking in shoes, but I'm here to the attempt is there. And like you said, people are so sensitive, but we have to stop being sensitive. I mean, truth is not sensitive. Truth hurts, as they say. So if we will have this open conversation to be wide open, we have to recognize the truth and call it what it is. I'm experiencing this as a black woman in all these different areas. This is what's happened to me. JP's experienced whatever as a white man, that's happened to him. And the attempt of learning is what the problem is. I mean, for some odd reason, we've gotten away from being from being honest, so to speak. It's just like, JP was saying in the beginning of the intro, the KKK don't even acknowledge that they're racist. But back in the day, they was burning people's yards and rolling up on people and telling them you better not have these type of meetings and all that kind of stuff. But now, they're hiding in plain sight. What happened? What happened to just being, okay, if you racist, cool. At least I know how to operate because you're racist. Cool, that's fine by me. You racist, all right. I know how to converse with you now. That's just like with me, like when I worked, in corrections. There was a guy that was, quote unquote, a skinhead because he had a tattoo and all this stuff. So I pulled up on him and I asked him, I was like, word is, are you a skinhead? And it's in front of folk because, I didn't care. And he was like, no, how people talk, how people talk to me, I talk to them. I said, okay, cool. I mean, because if you are, that's fine. But I just need to know so I know how to operate when I'm working on the floor. Then later on, he comes to me and has this deep old conversation about he's not racist and all that other stuff, which I don't care, but still be honest about your stuff. If you don't like whatever for whatever reason, okay, now I know. Versus being sneaky with it. That's the problem. Don't be sneaky. Just be honest. There's nothing wrong with having an honest conversation. But you know what? I don't like black people because I had a bad experience. Blah, 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 blah. And then, okay, I don't like white people because of blah, 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 blah. And then maybe come into an understanding. That's what the problem is. Everybody's so scared and so sensitive. It makes no sense. If we continue to be scared and sensitive, we will never have an open, honest, truthful conversation about anything going on in this world.
There you go. You hit the nail on the head. You cannot continue to be sensitive about every little thing. But don't you think that social media is to blame for that? I really feel like social media. Well, I take it back. Social media has made it worse. I mean, what do you think, JP? What are your thoughts? I feel like social media has really exacerbated the fact that people are so sensitive about everything.
Yeah, I think it certainly is a contributing factor. But I will say this in conversations about race, because I've had many occasions in my life, probably more often than not, where I am the only white person in the room. And things get a little more honest when that happens, right? And I know a great many people of color, be they, black, Latino, Asian, who are just bone-weary tired of having conversations about race with white people. And I get that so strongly. And I don't think that's necessarily a sensitivity. I think it's just, they're just tired and can't do it anymore. So my philosophy is I am not going to go to someone who's just bone-weary tired of having conversations about race with white people and tell them, you should have this conversation. That is absolutely not my right to do it, and I respect that bone-weary tiredness. However, myself personally, I do feel that social media has exacerbated that there's very little room for redemption and change. Because to me, it's like, okay, someone's caught making a racist statement. Everybody jumps on that person. Nobody learns anything. So, to me, at least in myself, my door is always open. Somebody needs to leave that door open. And if you're racist, you're racist. Admit it. Let's work from there. Everyone has racial biases. I think just the way that we even couch it and people just say, I'm not racist. Okay, whatever. But there also has to be room for redemption. There has to be room for people to be able to learn and to be able to grow in this life. And as I said, for me, myself personally, my door will remain open for that.
Well, I think it's amazing that you say that. I know a couple of weeks ago, there was a situation. There was a situation in Danville, and what ended up happening was the city councilman walked out on Corey Stewart's conversation, and they made it it had a racist connotation, and so I gave them a little bit of education, and nobody responded to that. Nobody responded to that, but they responded to everything else. So I don't know.
It's a reality show world too.
Of course, nobody wants to answer an educated answer. Of course, it ain't ignorant. So they're not going to respond, because if they respond, then they're going to look ignorant and sound ignorant, and then you're going to go in even further. Of course, they're not going to respond to that. They'll just keep on responding to everything else. I say they'll keep responding to the comments that are emotional or will hit emotional buttons. That's what they'll respond to, and not the logical, not the real. That's what it is. Forget the fact we can give educated statements all the time, facts all the time, but if it's not emotional enough, then they'll respond. And I agree with you, JP. Now social media is, you can't make a mistake now, because people will call you out on it and tell you stuff, and people still gonna bring it up. It's like, okay, let go and let God. Things happen. We're human at the end of the day. Nobody is superhuman. You know what I mean? And social media has, we're taking that away. Back in the day, magazine or something like that, or TV, and somebody might slip up and say something, and then you call you, hey, did you watch so-and-so? Did you record it? Did you hear this? And then, okay, that'll be over and done with. They might make an apology, that's it. But now social media, you'll bring it up, they'll retweet it, repost it, reshare it, reblog it, to no day's end, and it's constant trauma, reoccurring trauma, and people won't let go and let God. But bring out their skeletons, they mad, and we're the insensitive one. So It's kind of like, which one you gonna do? Mm-hmm. If you gonna keep whatever energy you put out, keep the same energy all the way through. If you're going,
Amber, can you say it one more time? Go back, Amber, go back. Say it just one more time.
If you're going, whatever energy you put out, keep that same energy. If you're going to reblog somebody's foolishness and they don't redeem themselves, i.e., what's his name, football player with the dog, oh Lord, I forgot his name that fast.
Oh, Michael Vick.
Michael Vick, Chris Brown. You gonna reblog the man that beat the girl. Okay, we all know this. He done did his little Netflix thing, explaining everything. He forgave. He asked God for forgiveness. If you gonna keep on reblogging that and re-traumatize yourself, make sure you put your own stuff out there too. Reblock your own stuff. Don't pick and choose. Don't pick and choose. Because if you don't keep that same energy, I'm going to call you out.
So let me tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amber, because I want to go on this energy thing. I got to go on this energy thing. And the reason I asked you to keep repeating it is because, all right, I was in conversation with somebody a few days ago, and they, they're in love, and then when I talked to them last night, they're not in love anymore. And I found myself repeating that because I knew that something had transpired because the post changed, right? My thing is, and I like how you said it, because I've learned now that you have to maintain a certain positioning, if you will. Because people use social media as the truth and the gospel. And the sad thing is that, I love to post. I love to post. Y'all know I love pictures. But I also like to post when I'm not well put together. Like I'll never forget. And Amber, you remember when I got those braids and I exposed the transparency of my edges. How many people do that without it being a meme?
Not too many.
So, AmberJ, I'm with you. Keep that same energy. And make sure, and you know what? This is explicit. Make sure your fucking words and actions align. Because I'm sick of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Because that's really, it's like, there's no consequence. So if I just go and I repost things that someone else posted, there's no consequence for me.
That's right.
I can back away from it. I could say, oh, I didn't say that. I can say whatever. But I absolutely agree. Keep your same energy. Is that your word or is it somebody else?
I agree. I think where I am, guys, and y'all tell me, y'all give me give me feedback. Where I am with this whole thing is, after everything that has transpired within the past week and a half, guys, I'm at the point where I'm losing faith in the justice system as a whole. Because this is how I really feel right now. I feel like white cops can kill black men and get away with it. And I now feel like white men can kill black cops and get away with it. And maybe I'm speaking from a place of grief, loss, hurt, and trauma. But you know something? I've seen more black cops get charged with crimes than white cops. I've seen more black cops get leave without pay than white cops. Hell, we've seen more black people get fired from jobs for no reason than white people. The only field that your job is almost secure if you're black is education and nursing, which are what? Two of the prominent fields that we were groomed for, that we were bred for, that historically black colleges and universities were made for. So, excuse me if I'm pissed off about white privilege. Excuse me if I'm pissed off that Brett Kavanaugh can go around fucking a whole lot of random bitches and he's the man. Because that's what he did. And he probably has some butt buddies too. Because you can't pay me to believe that these individuals are sexually assaulting these women just because of the power. I don't believe that anymore. I sincerely believe that a lot of them got shit that they hide. And they need to do this to make them feel like a man. I think I'm just pissed off. I'm pissed off. And I am speaking from a place of emotion. And I am speaking from a place of rage. Because I'm sick and tired But see, my issue is, at what point does our generation get sick and tired of being fucking sick and tired and we do something about it? Because obviously we're the only ones that give a damn enough to do anything, and those of us that keep talking about we doing it, and I'm not going to really throw direct shade right now, but I'm sick of these other radio personalities that talk about they walking the walk, but they using their own people as a crutch. So what do we do, guys? Like, how do we use AmberJ, Lillie Mae, and JP, the Westside Connection? How else can we get out there and hit the ground running and say, you know what, we sick of this shit?
Continue to do what we doing. Again, bringing awareness. Continue to post, because even though people are not coming out in droves or going out in droves, somebody is still being impacted some way, form, or fashion.
You're right.
Some way.
You're right.
I've had people to say to me that I don't, because I don't pay people no mind. I've had people say to me in a message, I didn't know about so-and-so, so thank you so much for posting it. Or they'll send me stuff because they've been watching what I've been posting and be like, man.
And they scared to post it themselves.
Right. And like, man, you always posting the truth. You always posting the truth. I'm like, okay, but you can post it too.
Amber, no, they can't. They cannot, because of how they act in public. They cannot. I've been posting a whole lot of shit on Instagram, and everybody inboxing me, oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay? No, I'll post it so that other people can repost it. If you look at my Instagram, so many people repost what I post because they said it initially to be posted. Why are we scared?
I don't know.
Maybe it's emotional lynching. It got to be emotional lynching, because I don't get it.
I don't know. And I guess, and maybe it could be because people know people outside of the screen, the cell phone screen or the laptop screen. True. People have said, you always speak the truth, and I appreciate that. Because some people don't have, if you don't have courage to speak the truth, that's fine. Everybody ain't built like that. But
That's true.
But it still gives somebody hope who may be in the shadows debating. Because I've seen people who don't post nothing at all, to all of a sudden they starting to post some stuff. I've seen it personally, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see you. And I may make a comment like, okay, I see you posting some stuff. Yeah, and then they'll shoot me a message. Yeah, I've been seeing what you've been doing, and you just go head on, and with everything that's happening to you still keep going. Yeah, I have my moments, but you can't let other folks try to bring you down, because truth always prevails in the midst of chaos.
Oh, AmberJ, speaking just one more time. Truth what?
Truth always prevails in the midst of chaos. Somebody can lie in the midst of chaos. Somebody can lie on you. Just like with just look at everything that's been going on. These people have been lying in these offices, getting these positions and stuff. Been lying. Then what happens? Years, weeks, months or so, back to back stuff start coming out. Then people hollering about, oh, they need to come out to this position. They need to do that. And eventually something happens because businesses pull back, sponsors drop them, money is leaving. Then it's like, well, then it comes like, well, yeah, I did do so and so and so and so and so. Okay, well, why you just say something? Why did it have to take you to lie? And then when the truth come out to hit you to where you at rock bottom, it should have took all that. Because I guarantee you, if you would just have spoke the truth in the beginning of it all, whatever it may be, whatever questions was asked, whatever it may be, like, yeah, I did that, I apologize. I.e., Nate Parker, that as to why his movie didn't do what it was supposed to do. But, speak the truth, you probably wouldn't lose so much, or whatever the case may be. But no, people want to lie and look like a clown when they get sworn in, to only for you to you're going to end up crying again when something else come out. Because she ain't the only one in regards to Kavanagh. She ain't the only one. It's going to be more people coming up.
And they probably been paid. They probably been paid not to say anything. So I just know, for me, I'm not selling my soul for the devil. You know, I feel like we've all been in positions where win, lose, or draw, and really it was either lose or draw. And that draw is selling your soul. And I just honestly feel like I can no longer hide who I am. And I don't plan to do it anymore either. Like, you know, someone made the comment, and JP, I think you'll be able to identify with this. Someone made the comment to me a couple of weeks ago that, you know, I might want to, you know, tone down. And it wasn't the first time I had heard that, because when I first stepped into the corporate professional world, you know, my hair was too long. My nails were too long. My nails had too many colors. I got too many tattoos. I need to cover them. My earrings too big. My jewelry too lavish. And, you know, one day I said, put my resume on the table with everybody that sits on city council, right? And scratch out the names. And pick the 7 resumes that you think sit on the city council. If my resume is not selected, I will tone everything down at your pleasure. What you think happened?
Well, I haven't seen you tone down lately.
Thank you. Thank you. But you know what the hurt piece is? Those comments came from people that look like me. Now, I understand. I understand people caring, and I understand people wanting to see you grow, but I honestly feel like this. By whose standard is my long hair unprofessional? By whose standard is the tattoo that says Grandma Helen, who was the grandmother I idolized? By whose standard is that unprofessional when there are judges and lawyers sitting with full sleeves, but you just don't see it when they're in the courtroom because they got on a robe? By whose standards are my elephant circle earrings unprofessional? Somebody help me with this. But a man can solicit me for ass for a promotion, and he gets kudos, but I can't wear big ass earrings to work. Y'all feel what I'm saying?
You making hella points there, honestly.
I'm trying to tell you guys, this episode leads us into MBG Speaks 101 Season 4. Patriarchy, power, and pussy. And I'm trying to tell you, the way we coming, y'all, they might shut us down. We might fuck the whole rating game up. People gonna watch Comcast. Amber, get it right for me, because you know I messed it up. Verizon 36, Comcast 95. Did I get it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Good. Yep, I finally got it. But you know what, AmberJ, you got this when you've been on top of it. Those were my final thoughts. AmberJ, you and JP, you can take us out.
Well, my final thoughts, I don't even know if I have one or can come up with one. But voting season is upon us, and there's plenty of Senate seats, House of Representatives, and it's plenty of time to groom who you think will be best for 2020. That's just the best that I say. Hold these people accountable. And hell, if you don't have one, do it yourself. Do it yourself.
That's right.
If you see need some changes, take the initiative. Don't wait because it may never come. The initiative may be just you. Take the initiative. Write your own, do the work, the footwork, and put yourself out there. But if there is candidates, support the candidate, challenge the candidate, help them be better candidates for that position.
Right.
Not everybody that's running knows what the hell they doing. They're just running because, it look good. It's going to look good on my resume. Challenge them. Carry your ass to the town hall and ask questions.
That's right.
What's up with this water bill? Y'all done got, what's up with this water bill? Y'all done got all the crooks out. What's the revenue looking like? We gonna get this built. Kids ain't got nowhere to go after school. What's going on with special education? What's the budget like? My child needs this. It's kids in the neighborhood, this, that, and the third. Is there any programs for the police department, for better community policing? All these questions. You're living wherever you're living at, and you want a better space for your family, your kids, the neighborhood, whatever. That's the type of thing you're thinking about. What you do affects the future. Even though you have now, a lot of it affects the future, and people aren't thinking of that. Think about the future. What you put in place affects the future.
That's true. Oh God.
Keep that in mind when it comes to voting. Challenge these people, and know, everybody won't get on Taylor Swift now because she made her little deep comment, and no, you don't have to agree 100%. But if they're making sense, and you feel how you feel, go ahead and vote. Even if you don't vote, even if you don't vote for whatever particular candidate, but you're still voting, you're still holding these people accountable. So whoever wins, I voted, you're gonna do your job.
That's
if
right.
you don't vote, you're gonna have to take what comes. Because you can't complain because you didn't go out there and vote. You can't complain about something and you didn't put forth no effort. That's like you being part of a school project. You just try to get this A, but you don't want to do no work. That's not how it's gonna go. And that's my final thought.
Damn, JP, I think she just gave it to her.
Yeah. It feels funny to even give a final thought because I feel like we just started.
Yeah.
So my final thought, never stop, never stopping.
Wow. Guys, AmberJ brought us in, and this your girl Lillie Mae, and I'm taking us out. And I just need you to understand this. Life is too short. Make the dash count. Life is too short. Make the dash count. I'm your girl Lillie Mae. You done heard from JP the Westside Connection and the infamous AmberJ. I need you guys to continue to listen in, but we want you to watch us because we are coming starting next Wednesday, 6 p.m. MBG Speaks 101 Season 4, Patriarchy, Power, and Pussy. You got to tune in to learn more about it. But as always, MBG listens, and then we speak. You guys have a wonderful, 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 wonderful afternoon.
Got my head over water for the first time in years. Got my feet across the border from a land of tears. Ain't no way I'm going back under. Got my eyes in the wild blue yonder. Well, let's be on the horizon. Let's go for